Hello, welcome to this Dot Connector videocast. I thought I'd have a chat about the nature of reality. I was going to talk about social worker, but we'll save that for another time. Don't want to talk about people like that. Hello, Rasheen, if you're watching. No, I thought I'd have a chat about naturality because out of all the things we need to know what's going on, we do need to know a lot. As I keep saying, the most important thing we need to know is the nature of reality, how it works, why does it work. And I watch a lot of paranormal shows, teams, spiritual things, as you know, and John Sixth Sense and Jojo and the team, that were at Yorks, weren't it? Jojo and the team was a castle in the north of England. But they're going to be doing an experiment. Then I'm going to tell you how it works. Because people are thinking, well, how can they talk to a castle in England and a castle in Scotland? Well, it's quite simple. I'll start like this. We live in a band of frequencies that's so tiny, it is laughable, of 0.5%. And we decode a fraction of that. Some say a bit more, some say a bit less, but we'll go with that. So, everything outside of that is infinite. There is no beginning, there is no end. That's just the human mind, the human conditioning, the left side of the brain, the reptilian part of the brain, wanting, well, there must be a beginning, a middle, and an end. Well, not really. But they're going to be doing an experiment. And it all connects to do with England and the Scots, really. Well, the England and the Scots is nothing to do with the English ordinary people. It's to do with the royal family, royal bloodlines who centred in the where they put the centre in England. British Empire. But England's the one, because of spiritual reasons and connections, they really focus on England. And then Scotland, Wales, who's like, okay, we're just going to dominate. But then it looks bad on ordinary people who are born in England. Well, I might have been around a different thinking, but I think and then times are around probably ancient Greece, and I think we're in different parts of the world, in different incarnations. I don't believe I was in England all the time. But even so, I don't believe I've ever been part of the royal family, ever. In any incarnation, and nor do I ever want to be, quite frankly. Because they are satanic paedophiles. That's what they are. Jimmy Savile, look at the connections. Come on. But anyway, so they took over, well, started England, dominated Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland. I know they don't class Republic of Ireland part of Britain, but I class it. To me, the part of us. Ireland, everything, the planet, everything's, we're all one consciousness on different experiences. So anyway, cut to the chase. How are they going to do this experiment? How? Well, we look at things as the brain decodes it as apart from everything else. But quantum physics shows that everything's connected. Everything's consciousness. Even inanimate objects have consciousness. Even, to be on camera before, even, I mean, John Sixon there's loads of dolls, isn't he? Even these guys have, believe it or not, energy, whether it's my energy, maybe their own energy, but definitely my energy attached to them. And my brothers, and my family. Attached to them. I used to love Scooby-Doo as a kid, and they're from childhood, and you can't get rid of Shaggy, can you? But no, I think that's the native in me. But everything's consciousness. Plants, trees, water has memory, and everything. You might think I'm talking cuckoo. That's not my problem, that's your problem. The problem, but the only problem, is that there is no out there. There is no out there. That only exists looking at the stars, this wall. Because I look around, I'm looking at television, a wall, furniture, dolls, whatever, draggy dolls. But that only exists in distance and in thinking when this decodes it. If this does not decode it, it does not exist. It's just waveform information, like Wi-Fi, and we decode it into form. It's like we could be looking for something, and it's not there. We turn around, it's back there. Two things to that. One, we cannot decode it sometimes in the moment, particularly when we're panicking and we need it bad. For some reason, it can shut that part of the brain down. Another reason is spirit can move things, apports and supports. So another psychic medium who's I think is the best of the lot in my view, even better than John and Jojo, better than Ian Lohman, is David Holt. He's told the stories on Iconic when they did the series. He once walked into his kitchen. He says in the morning, "Where's the toaster gone?" People said, "Wait, normally is." Turn round, it was back. But he thinks that was spirit, apports and supports. Now, that's not really about being better. I worded, but they'll work in different ways. But if I'm going to be hypercritical, I like the way it works best because he sees reality pretty much the same as David Icke. Now, so everything's connected. So the connection's going to be when they do the experiment, which I think will work, is there is no distance. So that's how it'll work. We look at the experiment as England and Scotland as, I don't know, say 400 miles. For example, it's an example. It's not an exact. But the experiment's not 400 miles. It's just boom. There's near-death experience. There is no time, distance, no such thing as time, distance, or limitation. All past, present, and future they experience in the same moment. They see what people thought then, what they think now, what they're going to think, what's happened before, what's happening now, what's going to happen. But it all exists in the same moment, and they can be anywhere they want to be in the universe simultaneously. God consciousness. And if you go high enough with consciousness, it's all inside of us. And David Icke experience on his DMT experience, it's no vibration. It's all still, it's all possibility it waits to manifest. And it's David Icke experience his DMT experience, but it's a female form, not a woman. It's consciousness, it's energy. If it vibrates, it's illusion. So this reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. This is why the experiment is going to work. And how it can work, and how it does work. So that 400 miles, it's not, even if it could still work in my view, but it's not like we have to walk 400 miles. to get the experiment or get in a car, when we're talking to spirits and energy and consciousness, it can relate. That's why I know you can sense. Right, on Wednesday, one of my brothers has got problems at work. I'm not going to go into it. It's none of my business to go into it on here. But that day, I felt really low. Very low. To start with. And I actually went into the train station. And I'm actually going to end this incarnation. End my life. But I didn't, obviously. And I bottled it. But afterwards, I was picking up my own emotion. Obviously, there's a bit of that. And sensing his. And also, I nearly went, and when I come round and went to the canal and stuff, I thought, should I just go to work and say, something's wrong? I knew something was wrong to begin with, but I thought, something's wrong today. And anyway, I got a phone call. Oh, yeah, what's Bradley? No. Oh, Mum's had to go and comfort him. He's crying outside work. So I sensed that. Now, yes, we're in the same city, and it weren't a million miles away, but to walk and I walk slow, it doesn't make you feel the time. If to get on transport, get in a car, it just still being distant. But it happened like that, so that's how, And not just England and Scotland. If John Sixers wanted to sell, to say for they don't really have castles in Australia and ancient land, but it said they wanted to do an experiment in America all the way to Australia, for whatever reason, it could work. There was none of that distance that we decode. It's totally different. And so and then another thing about the world being solid. Well, how can all this paranormal phenomenon happen if the world is solid? Well, the world is not solid. We all know the world, and me, you, us human beings, animals, everything in creation we see, all these objects are made up of atoms, and atoms have no solidity. So therefore, the world cannot be solid. It's holographic. We're holographic. It's a holographic reality. It's a hologram. It's a projection. This reality works in waveform information, say Wi-Fi, and that gets turned into electrical information, the world and us and how we decode it, and that gets turned into digital information because one level is digital, and that gets turned into holographic information. So we live in an electrical digital reality. So when we see Jupiter, it's a gas giant. It's not. It's electric phenomena. A lot of these stars and planets we see, though, can get into this in a minute. It's electrical. It's electrical phenomenon. The sun is basically entirely plasma. And people, plasma is I get that's the point. But it's plasma. It's electricity. It's the blood. It's plasma. We are electromagnetic beings. And speaking of, obviously, John's got a lot of illnesses, bless him. And I think something called diathermy, which works on long wave frequencies, electricity that can heal. And if he looks at Clive de Cole's work, I do believe if you visit Clive de Cole and you got in contact with him, I'm going to say it now, I think John Sixers could be cured and be a healthy human being and go something for 4 or 5 hours if he wanted to. There's all these options out there. This is amazing. The last month's more fascinating when you get beyond the norm. Because norm's a normal experience. Now, people say, where's the other life out there? Well, obviously, if we're only decoding, people and all about aliens and extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings. Well, the reptilians, greys, and that are them electromagnetic beings. Not all reptilians and greys are bad. Some are good. And a lot of the reptilians and greys, particularly reptilians, are here to help the human race wake up. But that's only when they take form. Energetically, they just consciousness, and also the bad distorted this satanic force. It's just consciousness the system's control from, and then they can take. Well, the Gnostics talked about too. Serpentine reptilians and the Greys. So of course there's life out there, but they can use that against us because they're already here for faking an invasion to lock us down. So be careful of that one. But of course, other life exists. Beyond this 0.5%, and that's been put there because at one time, I believe that was much expanded, so it could all be natural psychic mediums and see further into the nature of reality. And trying to thought that's what happens. See, but and the Saturn matrix. At one time, the planet had no moon, and that's why they bring these moons, and they did it with Mars. They brought a few in, and that's why the planet is at the angle and the spin it's at because of the moon. And that's why we have seasons. Without it, it'd be straight and, be 12 daylight, and the planet wouldn't be too hot or too cold. People's moods would be better. Moon. People's there'd be a lot less aggression. We're better to communicate with all these animal sentient beings, just naturally without all that aggression. There'd be no murdering, killing, and all that. And this one really left field. We're better all the respiratory systems underwater a lot better, and it also helped with obviously the moon affects the women's cycle. That worked a lot better. Though at one time we were like a ladybird, both male and female. And we used to have two suns. Now because Saturn was once our sun, and it didn't have rings, and it weren't standing like it is, and that was the main sun as well as the other sun. Now I can't be not too cold. Well, it's just how it works. But it all changed, and that's when you hear the classics of the flood and all that, and it nearly did for Earth. But one of the levels of the Matrix, I do believe, you look at the night sky, I don't believe the Earth's flat, but it is a dome. And I think that's electromagnetic resistance, and a lot of that, and reincarnate, you can incarnate and come to our pod, just have an incarnation, but not like a reincarnation, where it's, because this reincarnation cycle is a bloody trap. Endless body after endless, particularly human life, on one planet, and it's a trap. And I think that's what this dome is, and it's not solid, it's again electromagnetic resistance, and that's part of the Matrix that they brought in. Or we're gonna power away and allow them to do it. So why can't we walk through the world while we're on the same frequency? It's electromagnetic resistance, and if there's those other realities, why can't we see the realities? Because we're all tuned to this one. I'm tuned to the television station, and I can go inside reality and walk through the world. Well, Radio 1 can't interfere with Radio 2 unless it's close to the dial. You still have the dominant radio station, this one, but when we get interference, that's what we call paranormal activity and ghosts. And David Icke seen a ghost walk through the wall. As a lot of people have. And obviously that's spirits when they're not at rest, and they can be put to rest no matter what it's done in this life. That's where, I'm quite controversial with that. Have a breather. I'm getting ahead of myself. But And a lot of, and this has come from a psychic medium, is that David Holt again, that a lot of this poltergeist, which is just German for noisy ghosts, is actually an energy like the Enfield poltergeist we think was real. Two witnesses, they were watching levitate. They didn't realise that at the time they were both watching the same thing because they were mesmerised, but as you would be. But you take that person out of that room, a lot of the paranormal activity, if not all, it stops. And it usually affects teenage girls. We don't know why yet, but the cult do. They know how the human mind works and psychology. That's how they manipulate it. But yeah, that's not saying spirit can't move stuff, because I think it can, but it's the unknown. But it's like when they have John and that, he can do telekinesis. That's what it is. They have, because if I go somewhere, I don't really get much chucked at me for anything, but it can happen to him a lot. But he is definitely not fake. Now, is it John's own energy creating that? If you, what you could do is say, when it's just flying around like pool balls and all that, and you take yourself out of there and go and sit in the car, and then see if that activity decreases, or just have the investigators in there, just for an experiment. But just to reiterate, it is definitely not fake, because it's live. You can see on camera what's happening, but a lot of it is his own energy. That it's like when David Icke had his DMT experience. The lights come on in the room the first time, or it would have been the second time, but it's because in Betty Shine, a record player would turn on. It's then again, that's our own psychic energy, because it's electricity. That's, again, it's all to do with electricity. High levels of electricity, and yeah, I was electricity or an energy. So it is fascinating. So that's how that's possible, and they know all this. That's what the whole conspiracy is based on, hiding the nature of reality. It's the main thing, and the most important thing we need to know. We need to get our heads around this. There is no death. There's just a transfer, point of attention. We really do live forever. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. We are infinite awareness. We are state of being aware. All that ever is, all that ever was, all that can be, all that ever can be, all that can be. We're all one consciousness on different experiences. Infinite love is the only truth. Everything else is illusion. We are infinite awareness. We are state of being aware. All that ever is, all that ever was, all that can be, all that ever can be, all that can be. We're all one consciousness having different experiences. And that's what we need to remember. David Icke explains it a lot better than me. David Holt does, and David Icke does explains it a lot better than me. So, yeah, I just thought I'd come on in and talk about that for a bit. I'm going to put it on YouTube, because also I usually okay with this stuff for now. And I'm bitching for now. But yeah, I thought I'd come on and talk about the nature of reality. And the Saturn Matrix, by the way, the point I'm getting at with that is that it not only our perceptions, and I think, as DNA is manipulated, we told us in that electromagnetic spectrum of 0.5%, and Saturn Moon Matrix holds us in that 0.5%. Saturn's rings broadcast a frequency, it's amplified by the moon, and that's why there's an ice storm at the bottom and an hexagon at the top, I think. And that's done by cymatics and so planets square. It's not Big Bang and that, it's cymatics and the illusion of reality. Not the complete stillness, but that's the great thing with cymatics. Either naturally or manipulated, like the ice storm and the hexagon on Saturn's rings and the amplification. Because Saturn's rings broadcast frequency amplified by the moon. that alters in this electromagnetic spectrum of 0.5%. And when the Voyager went up 9 billion talks about it. Giants out of the spaceship, because obviously the giants of the Earth and giant greys and reptilians up there, believe it or not. And what else? And it makes a sound. It's got a sound wave, it's got its own sound, broadcasting a sound. Told us in the electromagnetic spectrum, not 0.5%. So yeah, but it's just nice to come and talk about the nature of reality. I'll have a drink, and then I want to wrap it up. Wow. Yeah, I know it's not the best thing. But yeah, wow. And that's what, I'm just going to wrap it up with this. Oops. No, now what my whistle knocks them over. Is that, that's what we need to remember, we're not, that's what makes racism, sexism, and racism so insane. We need to remember we're not our name, we're not the body, we're not as race, sexuality, religion, income bracket, any of that. We are conscious. That's us experience. It's not we are. That's us experience the system that want to have us believe that's who we are. That's not who we are. That is our experience. We are consciousness, the eternal, the true I, the real I, the eternal consciousness, all that is of us ever can be. The infinite consciousness having those experiences, having those experiences. We're not the body and all that. That's what we experience. It's not who we are. We are consciousness having the experiences. We are consciousness having the experiences, and that is the most important thing we need to know. And we've been manipulated to forget all of that. So yeah. So that's possible with experiment and all that. So I hope you found it informative. So yeah, it's just information. People make it what they wish. It's my right to say it, and it's people's right to make it what they wish. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up. See you later. Take care. Love everybody. Take care. Love everybody. Love you all. Love everybody. Take care. Bye bye. Take care. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.